Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, my friend, welcome to Pivot Parenting. If you are new here, I want to let you know about a fantastic resource I have to get you started. On my website, heatherfrazier.com, I have a podcast quiz. You answer 10 or 12 questions that are really easy about your parenting relationship with your teen, and I will send you my top 10 episodes that can specifically address what you're dealing with. It's a great way to get familiar with exactly what is most useful to you. And by taking the quiz, you will also be added to my email list, which is a really valuable resource in and of itself because my pen pals are the first ones to know about everything and get invites. For example, this podcast. Every summer, I like to do actual coaching sessions for about a month to give you a different perspective, a different way to help, and to show you what coaching can look like. And the people that come on the podcast get free coaching. I only offer this to my email list. So if you would like free coaching, you can sign up to be on my podcast this summer by being on my email list. Another really great thing is that they are the first ones to find out when I am speaking at events. Like this April, I am speaking at a virtual summit that you can attend. It's hosted by Extraordinary Family Relationships. This is an organization that helps support parents in the different stages of raising children. And this is, goodness, maybe their 5th, 6th, 7th summit they have presented. They always have fantastic speakers. I am included, and I'm speaking this year. To be sure that you don't miss out on things like this, you want to be on my email list. So if you're new here, go grab the quiz, get the top 10 podcast episodes that are most relevant to you, and become my pen pal. Every week, I send a small little tweak on Wednesday. This is something that you can adjust or tweak with your parenting relationship that can make massive shifts. It's kind of like putting in one little pulley or 1 degree of difference in the beginning, and through the course of time, you are in a vastly better space because of that small adjustment. So these emails are also really valuable. I try to make them really short, really digestible, and you can always hit reply and get directly to me. I don't share my email list. It's just you and I on there. And it's a great way to have direct access to me. I love it when pen pals write me back. They can make podcast requests for topics. It's a really great way to have more help, more support, and be the first person to know about all the good things going on that can help benefit you. So today we're talking about when our teens give us some version of the story, my life is over. Something terrible has happened. They're having a meltdown. Their friends broke up with them. Their partner broke up with them. They failed a quiz. They didn't make the team. They were embarrassed in class. You're going to walk away at the end of this episode knowing so much better how to help them, because I know firsthand that the panic sets in when our kids come home and they have had a day. It can put us in a tailspin as well, but it doesn't have to. So that's what you're going to end up with. I want to break this episode down into 4 parts. We're going to talk about development, which I think is always important for parents to understand. We're going to talk about your influence as a parent. And then we're going to talk about how to comfort in the most helpful way for them. And then how to build resilience and connection so that they can have tools to navigate their life being over when it happens again, because it does. It happens all the time. So, are you ready? All right, development. I feel like I talk about this in most of my episodes because it is so relevant. For as much as their body is changing on the outside, just as much is happening on the inside. But it is harder to see and to track and to understand because they cannot articulate and are not even aware of it. Okay? The teenage brain has so much going on. And I know the basics of it, definitely not a neuroscientist. But let me tell you what I do know. You have your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex, and these two parts of your brain do vastly different things. Both are really important, and both are having growth spurts. So the amygdala starts its massive growth spurt in early adolescence, 12, 13, right around there, give or take. And this is what triggers us into fight, flight, freeze, fawn. This is what tells our brain what is dangerous. And when this is going through a growth spurt, our kids it's kind of like picture the first baby you have and your milk production comes in. Whether you're deciding to nurse or not, your body doesn't know how much is enough and it just goes hog wild, potentially. This is like our kids. They've never felt this before. Their brain has never developed this way. And so it can produce a lot more emotion than what is needed. And emotions are just neurotransmitters making our body feel all kinds of exciting sensations. Like dopamine is one of these, for example, or cortisol, if you are familiar with these terms. When your brain gets the danger signal, its body releases that you should be scared, freaked out, worried emotion, and it might do a little bit of overkill because it doesn't exactly know how to track it and how to manage how much it's releasing because it doesn't know how much is too much and how much is too little. So when your kid feels a lot of emotion, I promise they're not being dramatic. They really feel a lot of emotion because their little brains don't know how much is too much. It can also feel very permanent because their prefrontal cortex, this is the more sophisticated part of our brain that makes us very human. And it's kind of like a halo. It starts growing in the back of our head and wraps around to our forehead like a halo. This part of our brain develops a little later in adolescence, 15, 16, 17. And this is logic and reason and thinking ahead, the goal-oriented part of our brain. So it's almost like our kids start developing the gas pedal before they develop the brake pedal. And so they can't see that long term, it's okay that their boyfriend broke up with them. It's okay that they flunked the quiz. It is okay that they got their third tardy. It is okay for whatever they're freaking out about. They are only in the here and now. And they will remember forever this day and this moment. Now, some things they might actually remember. I think we all have those traumatic moments that we remember from adolescence, but most of the time we don't remember. But we can't convince a teen that it doesn't matter when it feels like they really do. The important thing for you to know is that this experience is very real, even if their logic isn't. And your calm presence helps to regulate the storm, which brings me to part 2. Your response helps to shape their self-view and their resilience and the experience right there in that moment. Common reactions that typically backfire are minimizing, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Your older brother tried out 5 times and didn't make it, and they flunked the ACT or whatever, right? Like, we don't want to minimize. We don't want to compare. We also don't want to rescue. Well, let me call your teacher. I'm going to email them right now, and I'm going to get mad at them for not letting you retake that quiz or whatever. We don't need to rescue. We also don't need to dismiss. What are you talking about? It's not that big of a deal. Why are you so dramatic? You always have such big reactions. Dismissing is teaching our kids that we aren't safe and that we don't understand and we aren't interested in understanding, that they don't matter to us. And then we can also moralize. Well, at least you have a family that can afford to pay ACT prep for you. At least you live in a country where you can go to college. At least you don't have it as bad as this person, or any other justification. And the reason why we do these things like minimizing and rescuing is because we're uncomfortable that they're uncomfortable and we want to fix it fast. But these things don't fix it, they make it worse. So what we want to do instead is validate their emotion. We don't have to buy into the drama. Although sometimes I do like to say, let's go egg their car. I've never egged anybody's car, by the way. But sometimes when our kid is upset and we say, let's go slash their tires and egg their car, and it can bring a little bit of humor. It can diffuse the situation because my kids know I'm not going to go slash anybody's tires. And the fact that they know that and I say, let's go slash their tires, it can be kind of startling in the best of ways. Because it's like, oh, that's a little bit dramatic, Mom. We don't need to slash their tires. Or maybe they'll say, yeah, let's do. And I'll say, yeah, and we should get all the neighbors to come with us because they love you and they would want to slash their tires too. And we can kind of create a silly response that can help diffuse the situation. Humor is one of my favorite ways to redirect in healthy ways. Validating, again, is also huge. I can see you're upset, and that totally makes sense. We don't have to say that they should think another way. A lot of times when people are first learning all of my coaching tools that I teach here, they want to help everyone around them feel good and find the peace and happiness that they have felt in adjusting their thinking. But first, we have to deal with how we want to feel, which is upset. And it's kind of like taking something from a toddler that they've decided they don't want to set down. And it makes it way worse if you try to yank that object out of a toddler's hand. Instead of letting them check it out, and then their curiosity dwindles, and then you can hand them something else, and they're happy to give it up, and they don't throw a fit. Because they're like, oh yeah, I'm kind of over this. I'm ready for something different. It's the same thing. We can say, I can see that you're upset, and it's okay to be upset, and let's be upset together. I'll sit with you in this upset. It is not a problem for me. When parents can show that uncomfortable emotions are okay, that they're normal, that they're to be expected, that they're part of the human experience, not only in adolescence, but as parents, and just normalize that, that is such a gift. So really keeping in mind that we do not have to fix anything for our child. We more need to witness for them that they aren't suffering alone and that it is okay to feel however they are feeling. And it's a beautiful thing when our child can really understand that no feeling lasts forever. Even the feelings we really want to keep, like falling in love or acing a test or making the team or having somebody that we really think is awesome acknowledge our existence. Those things feel so good, and even that feeling doesn't last forever. And so just making space for our child to have whatever experience they're having and being okay with it, modeling that for them, is a massive gift for them to be able to do the same for themselves and others. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. All right, part 3, comforting without rescuing, which is a little bit like our influence as a parent, but some slightly different tweaks. We want to ask maybe grounding questions instead of trying to talk them out of thinking that their life is over. This is great for parents to do because we have a much broader perspective. We can ask details around it like, well, the whole school saw and she totally shot me down and it was awful. How did your friends respond? Hopefully their friends responded in a favorable way. How did, this person, what did this person say? You went and talked to the counselor. Okay, what did they say and how were they supportive? And any little questions around the details, showing them the bigger picture and how people maybe still love and support them and don't reject them or think that their life is over. We want to essentially show empathy and safety. We don't want to agree that their life is over. We don't want to buy into whatever doomsday they are trying to sell, but we can do this in a really loving, compassionate way, acknowledging that it makes sense that they feel that way and that it could make sense other ways as well. And that can be bringing in perspective in a gentle way when it feels appropriate. Again, just like the toddler, if we try to yank things out of a toddler's hand, it doesn't go well. So what feels hard about this right now? What would feel supportive to you? One of my favorite questions when somebody is really upset is, do you want to be distracted or do you want to vent? Because sometimes when I'm upset, I don't want to talk about it. And so for somebody to ask, do you want to talk about it or do you want just to fill up the space? Do you want to be alone? How would you like to be supported? Can feel really good. Would you like a hug? Would you like me to not touch you? I have kids on both ends of that spectrum. Some want a hug and some do not want to be touched. And so to ask permission of how to support and how to comfort them is really empowering to them. And that is what we want to do, is to show them that they still have power over themselves. And then we want to model emotional regulation. So if we're starting to get upset, we can even tell them, okay, I can see I'm really getting upset as well. How about if we both go for a walk and walk this off? We can walk and talk. I love walking and talking. It's amazing. What if we went for a drive and turned up the music and sang really loud and then went and got a soda? How about if we both just scream into pillows? Would you like to do a breathing exercise with me? There are a lot of things that we can model for them to bring emotions down in healthy ways. And then the fourth part is building resilience and connection. This is our ultimate goal. This is why we need to understand and implement all of these tools, because we want our child to have a happy, healthy, successful adult life. And resilience and learning how to connect with people are two really important components in that. So we want to use the moments to teach mental strength. And again, that is normalizing all emotions. Every single emotion is normal. Even if it's diagnosable, it's normal and it's okay and it won't last. And when our child is calm, we can offer tools that we have, like breathing, like tapping, like yoga or meditation or going for a walk or a run or a bike ride or a drive. There are so many different things that we can teach our kids. These are healthy ways to feel better in our own headspace. And they're hard to teach our kid when our kid is already caught up in a bad headspace. So we can walk them through in real time in those moments if they want us to. And then when they're calm, When it's not the end of the world, we can say, hey, I've been learning these things and I would love to teach you for when you're upset, because we all get upset sometimes. We can help them by our example to understand that failures and disappointments and loss, nothing has gone wrong. And it feels terrible. And it can be growing experiences. We can grow empathy for people who are in the same boat or have it worse. And we can just love on them and gain a lot of humanity through our experiences. We can, if you have a religious framing in your home, this is a great way to teach about God and how the divine loves us and is present in our lives and doesn't care if you got a 14 on the ACT or didn't get into your college or make the basketball team. The divine God still loves them and their worth is infinite, regardless. Isn't that wild? But again, this is all when they are ready to hear it. Because if you jump the gun, you're just going to push them away. So sit with them for as long as they want to be sat with in the negative emotion, making space and normalizing. And then when they're ready, if they're ready, you can teach them. Teach them that they're not powerless. They don't have to get it perfect. That upsets are part of life, that nothing has gone wrong, and that hardship is a way to gain strength. And it's not fun, but it's unavoidable. Here are the ways that we can overcome it and gain resilience and strength. Okay, my friends, this is what I have for you this week. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you want further support, please click the link in the show notes, grab a 45-minute call with me. You don't have to navigate this alone, and I would love to help you to feel more equipped and empowered so that your child is more equipped and empowered. Have a wonderful week.